for the opportunity. My name is Meredith Hatfield, and I live on Greenhill Lane, and I'm a volunteer with Boston Climate Action Network. And with me is Mike Prokosh, who's a longtime member of BCAN. And we're here to talk to you tonight about an exciting thing that is before the City Council, and we would like to ask for your support. You might ask, why are we here on this issue tonight? And I brought with me the 2014 Climate Action Plan for the City of Boston. Some of you may be familiar with this or with other efforts that the city's been undertaking. And the city's actually going through a process right now of updating this plan. And what the plan calls for is for the city to take a bunch of steps to reduce its own carbon footprint, including through the use of cleaner energy and through energy efficiency and other actions the city could take. And what Mike is going to talk about is one of the actions the city could take that would allow each of us to purchase clean energy without having to do something like put solar panels on our own roof. Several municipalities, other cities and towns in Massachusetts have done this. And I actually have some materials with me that I'll leave, including a case study from MAPC about the city of Melrose that was able to do it and not only buy cleaner energy, but do it in a way that saved the citizens of the city money. So I'm going to turn it over to Mike and let him talk about community choice energy, and we'd be happy to answer any questions for you that you can. Thank you.
So I'm a ringer, I'm from Dorchester, but I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for giving us some time. I think the big context for this is how spectacularly the federal government is failing to do anything about climate change, switching to cleaner energy, cutting carbon emissions, heading off what 99% of scientists agree is going to be a disaster for people around the world. And people from Mayor Walsh to Governor Baker have reacted to that failure by saying we've got to step up. The quickest way that the city can step up is to start really putting some effort into making renewable energy more available, making actually transitioning to a fossil-free future. The technology is there, the prices of solar power and wind are coming down rapidly, but the city actually is doing little to nothing about renewable energy at this point, and they need a push from us to do it. What community choice energy does is the following. You may or may not know that Eversource, our utility, doesn't actually generate its own power anymore. That got split off when the state deregulated the electricity industry and basically split generation from distribution, which is what Eversource still does. When that happened, the state also passed a law saying that cities could buy energy instead of Eversource buying the energy. Eversource would still deliver it to us, but that would give us more control over the type of energy we're purchasing. It could allow us to cut the price of energy, and several cities in Massachusetts have taken advantage of it to raise the mix of renewable power, more solar, more wind, in the electricity that you use every month. Those other cities have managed to increase renewables by 5%, and it's probably going to be more now because the price of renewables is coming down rapidly, without raising costs to consumers, to us. So most of us can't put solar panels on our roof, either because we don't own the building, the roof isn't suitable, we don't have the money, there are many reasons. So what this will do is allow all residents and small businesses in Boston to get more renewable energy and basically jump 5 years ahead of the state's plan for transitioning to renewable energy. And the energy would be local. It would be in the New England grid. It wouldn't be from a Texas or Nebraska wind farm. It would generate jobs nearby. It would make us more energy resilient in case of blackouts or climate disasters. So it would also make your electric bill more predictable, because the city would contract for a longer period than Eversource does. You would know what rate you're going to pay for electricity over 12, 18, 24 months, however long the contract the city writes. And it would be at no cost to us, and it would be at no cost to the city because they would hire a broker to go out and find the energy who would basically administer the program. So there's basically no downside to it. Michelle Wu and Matt O'Malley, councilors, are co-sponsoring a resolution to enact this. We need to reach the rest of the city council and candidates for city council, and we need to convince the mayor that this is a good idea. So if we do this, we will really put Boston in the lead for cities that are dealing with climate change, and there will be concrete benefits for us in the neighborhood, particularly for a neighborhood that's vulnerable to coastal flooding, storms, and sea level rise as the North End. If people have questions, I'd love to hear them, but we would love to have an endorsement from the association at whatever point that becomes feasible. We'd love to have your help. People could call the mayor's office and our city councilors, including at-large councilors. That would be a huge help. And we have flyers with numbers on them and more information about this. And if anyone wants to volunteer with the campaign, we'll take it.
What's the time frame?
It would, between when the city council passes it, which depends upon the elections and whatever other business they're dealing with, would take about a year for the Department of Public Utilities, the state which regulates the utilities, to approve it. And then it would take a little longer. So I would say a year and a half from now, something like that.
And also the time frame for when is the resolution being considered by the city council?
We're now drafting the text of the hearing of the order. So that could happen as soon as the fall.
Is there any chance that it doesn't pass?
There's always a chance, and there's also the urgency of getting the mayor on board because the order does not require the city to implement it. It authorizes the executive to implement it, so it could die at the mayor's doorstep. So that's why we're really prioritizing communication with the mayor. Yes, thank you. If anyone doesn't want to be in on the plan, people are automatically enrolled in the plan, but they can opt out if they don't want to. And they will be able to opt out at any point in the program at no cost, unlike all the energy scammers who are calling you every day and knocking on your door and saying, buy our plan. This is a way of kind of heading them off and discouraging them by saying, the city's going to take care of your options. Yes?
Do you have a letter you're sending to the mayor or any city councilors that we can sign on to?
Yes, I believe we have. Yeah.
What's the argument against it?
The argument that we got, the only opposition came from Boston's environmental chief, who says we're trying to put everything into energy efficiency on whether it's and we think that's a better strategy than renewable power. And our response is, why not both?
Did Michelle Wu file any kind of resolution to call for public hearing on this?
There has been a public hearing on April 25th, and that's when we heard it from Chief Blackman, the environment chief. Yes?
Will this be available to businesses at some point?
It is available to businesses, and we think that small businesses will take the most advantage of it because larger businesses and institutions often already buy their own power, mainly for cost savings. But we would love it if more businesses got on because that would mean a bigger impact. Yes.
You mentioned that electric users already have the option to choose their service provider.
Yes.
There are no alternative energy providers offered at the moment on Maine?
There are no alternative energy providers offering local renewables.
So they're all
Right. They'll switch you to, far away renewables, which is much cheaper because there's more land and less land costs and lower construction costs. But that doesn't build up our capacity here. I mean, one reason that we're doing this is if, for example, if we want to cut down vehicle emissions and switch to electric vehicles, we're going to need a lot more renewable capacity here in New England to charge those vehicles. So this is kind of, it's a big investment in the future. It's opening up the possibility of kind of deep transformations to clean energy. Yes?
How is the power made? I mean, there were limitations on how many, how much power you can get around here with solar power, and I don't see that much wind. I mean, what is it going to be used to make this power?
Offshore wind is a big factor, and there's a lot more capacity. We haven't hit the limit yet.
Yeah,
Let's say that.
Offshore wind is really is really a reality.
Yeah, they are now developing 2 huge tracts off southeastern Mass. A Danish company bought into it because they've done it in the North Sea. You know, by some near point in the future, Denmark is going to be fossil free. So they know how to do it. And actually, people on the vineyard are teaming up with them to.
I've wondered for some time, is anyone looking into waterfalls, the energy produced in waterfalls? In tidal range, Boston has a 9-foot tidal range, and the Bay of Fundy has a 60-foot tidal range. It seems to me that those things would be an obvious place to look for renewable energy.
Yeah, people are looking into that. There are researchers at UMass Boston who are involved in that. I mean, people have been, Franklin Delano Roosevelt tried to push a project to use the Bay of Fundy's tidal power Passamaquoddy Bay, and people there are still looking at it. So maybe someday it will come to pass. But they're also looking at, for example, putting turbines underwater so that tide shifts can run the turbines both ways. So you don't have to build a huge expensive dam and you don't obstruct the navigation of fish.
One more question? Any other questions?
I just want to quickly say, my name is Claire, I'm volunteering with Boston Climate Action, and we have a clipboard here that we can pass around if you want to sign up to help in the neighborhood. We'd love that. I've already talked to a few of the city council candidates about this issue and the mayor, and we'd definitely love your help if you are supportive. So thank you very much.
I think Claire also has a letter that people could sign.
Yes, I have a letter I can send you if you sign up there, and we have handouts we're passing around right now.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.